Welcome to day 16 of my 3D tutorials. If you come in part way to this tutorial series, please refer to my website www.andrewbooth3d.com. And here contains many of my assets that I've done in my past, and my tutorials is halfway down the page. To view all my videos, please go to my tutorials page. If you require any critiquing on assets or any 3D kind of positions you have at your studio, please email me at a.booth3d@outlook.com, or you can follow me on Twitter at andrewbooth3d. Now we've done some housekeeping. I always like to say that at the start of every tutorial so people know the ins and outs of what I do and stuff like that. Last time we looked into the concept of grey packing and creating masks in Photoshop. Now we have got that mask right here, and if you go down the line, it's created this mask here, which we blended into the material mask we created here. So this mask is what's creating the gold in this asset that you see before you. Now the rest of the things here, what we've got going here, is quite simple. Now, the last time I did this, I didn't explain what if you wanted other topology, because typology, because we got 2 or 3 here. So what you simply just need to do is change the actual transform node just to encompass the selected typology, and then just edit the other transform nodes accordingly. Like here, just lift it up to the side here. As you can see, it's slightly small, so just increase it. Like so. And then copy, instead of, this is another trick I could show you, instead of re-editing that one and then resizing and make sure it's the same size, you can just copy and paste that over, deleting that, and then using this as a template, single click that and just move that to the other end. And there you have it. You just changed over the actual topology based on the transform mode. Quite simple and quick to do. Now, if you want to be creative, you can create a switch, so it can switch between this typology to the other one. I'll show that in the near future. But first, I want to get the others sorted first. So, the other channels, if you double click it on the individual ones, we have salt and pepper. Since this is going to be, I want this one to be the pepper, it's going to be more interesting. We'll take the B, and basically it's the same thing what we're doing here. So what you can do, just copy and paste all these nodes and just input the B, you know, the blue channel instead of the A. This means the only thing you need to do, is to move about this transform mode so it just encompasses the pepper, like so. And there you are, the pepper. From here, you just create another transform. I always used a pre-existing transform node that I just copy and paste, because then it will already have the node tiling property and the met color already set. You don't need to do that, so it saves you time, and it has a rough estimation to the scale that you require anyway, so it's always pretty dandy. So double click occlusion, single click that one, so you know what you're doing. We do have the U3 slot here, which by selecting that you have the UV for more precision. Now when we look at it, it's pointed here. For the middle one, it's here. So slot it here. There you go. As you can see it now roughly whereabouts at its position. So I want it roughly about there. Copy and paste that node and just move that to the side, like so, and then blend them together using a pre-existing blend. Like so, and then blend these two together, like so. Just rearrange the other nodes to make it more tidy. Like that. We'll be going through the graph in a later date, so don't fret about the way it looks, because I will be going through it again, teaching you how to make the graph more efficient. What I like to do when I'm creating my graph, I like to get it down in stone first to make sure it works, then, you know, tidy it up, making it more efficient, that way working back into it. And now, as you can see from what we just created, there's pepper and the back of it as well. Now if you find that's too high, that's quite simple really. You could just lower each one down like so, like that. If you find that's too low, just higher up slightly. And basically it's just all it's about is faffing around, making it more just faffing it around, making it more tidy and neat. like so. That's nice and neat. Now it's time for the actual bottom of it. Now this is where we're going to be using the third channel, but unlike the actual using it and blend it in, we're actually going to use a material color blend for this one. So what I'll do, I'll put this move these two down so I have more space. Get a material blend. So type in. Now you're probably thinking, why am I using a material blend for this? Well, that's simple really. I don't want this to be the same colour as the wood. I want it to be black. So I need to alter it so it would cover that. So it'll be black with no roughness. So it'll be white in the roughness. The reason I'm going to have it white in the roughness is because I don't want that bit to be shiny. Because I want that to be black, like it's empty space. Now I could use alpha, but if I enable the alpha channel, the alpha output here, that's another output node that will add to memory of the file and add to the size, and it's not efficient. So this way is another trick that I learned that could be more efficient if you just want like holes, creating like holes and stuff like that. So first of all, put in a material color blend. Just click on the ones that's enabled that we require, like so. We don't need ambient occlusion because, wait a minute, I'm trying to think now. Do we need ambient occlusion? No, we don't, because we don't want light to penetrate inside it. And if we do it from the outside, it looked like it's been stuck on. So no, ambient occlusion would not be good for this. But you still need to have it enabled anyway. So click on 2. There you are. And then from the channel, we just want this to be selected. So again, we need to copy and paste these nodes here. I'll put them here for now. Instead of A, put B. And just cut out that shape. And that does help. I clicked on the wrong transform node. It's this one that I need. This is another thing. When you're doing a lot of nodes, do make sure that you have the correct node selected. And this is what you get left with. And it's just a simple case of getting a transform node. put it into place. Rotate it slightly. Make it smaller. Yeah. For me, I think that's perfect. That's more realistic. Now we use this to drive the normal map here. So we go normal. We also use it to drive this. Now as you can see, it's only these that's been cut out. That's because we need to invert it. There you go. Here, and just plug in the transform node into the normal node here. What I was doing when I went sun, I was just altering the shape of it, reducing it. But when you get see-through normals here, that's because there's no data here, so it's just registering as alpha, just see-through. You can take it away by clicking this enable alpha of image, and it just repairs that. This is from here in the diffuse, instead of hand white, have it black. But be careful, do not have pure black. When you're dealing with physically based rendering, you can never, and I'll repeat, never use pure black. It's to do with the roughness channel, the roughness or glossiness. That's because if you have too dark, it doesn't enable the range, so it kind of destroys the physical base rendering properties of it. So never have it pure black. Have it like a greyish colour, like so, and then multiply. And then with the roughness, it's white, so add, because we don't want the pure white. Same with metallic. And ambient occlusion, want to be pure black, so add. There you are. Holes. They're not see-through, but they're black because you can't see through it. And once you combine the normal map, so normal to combine it like so. There you are. It creates nice bevel on the holes, but they must be enabled the right direction. As you can see, it looks like it's been beveled out in opposed to beveled down. So this is where you need to be careful. So use this one instead. As you can see now, it's using the right direction. But I feel the normal map isn't large enough. So click here and type in 5. There you are. It created the holes required for it. And that's how you use a grey packed mask. From here, what I normally do, I first of all save and then start going through the map, making sure it's more efficient, because at the moment it's such a mess. So I do this by selecting all of the nodes that I want and add frame. This adds a nice clean box, which then I can add a title. So this will be outputs. Here will be add frame. This won't be called overall. No, we call it base material. Because remember, I'm using a base material to home in all of this material into one location. Philosophically, I don't really need this. So in effect, I can just go like that and there's no change. So now that I know I don't need this node because nothing has actually changed, I can just get rid of it. Click this box. And as you can see, because this is in the frame, if I move this, it moves the node as well. If I move the frame, it moves the node as well. So just rename the node overall blend. Now there is some I also forgot to do, is the nut. That is simple enough to do. Simple enough to do. It is located on channel 3. So what I do, it's so simple. Copy these 3 again. Copy these, paste these 3, and then select the transform. And then select the node I want. I want it to be across, so just slide down like so, and there you are. Add a transform. There's a normal, I'll be doing that in a bit, but a transform. And then alter the transform so it will fit into that circle there. This is, so change the tiling to no tiling and the matte color to white. Alter the size so it fits into that circle like so. But wait, there's a problem. If we just put this into the normal, like so, it just do a normal. But we want to be able to control that because it's got not much data into it. So we need to enable a blur. Blur the height map only ever so slight. And look, it's softened not only the normals, but it enables a more powerful normal, which then we can then combine to other normal nodes, like so. Now since this is another normal, I'll combine it with this normal and then plug it back in. Yeah. A nice knot. And then I'll use again that height map to create that ambient occlusion. Lower the spreading and the mid. Yeah. To me now that is a perfect normal. I mean ambient occlusion. So from here I'll blend it in with this ambient occlusion. So copy this blend, like so, and hook it in. Yeah, that's a nice little ambient occlusion to that nut. So it looks like there's a screw that got a bit unscrewed and it can come off. And basically now what it's all about is now sorting through this entire graph what it does basically. This is now the nut blend. The whole blend. So add frame. Whole blend. Like this here. Just add a frame. Call this transform white color. And here's a little trick. To reduce how many nodes you have, you can press D and it docks that node to the next node. But only do it to the nodes that you don't need to access because it's hard to locate the nodes that you do need. Like, you need to know the transform so you can easily transform it. Sometimes you can dock level nodes. This one can be docked because I don't necessarily need to worry about the levels because they're the ones that make it blocky. Like here, we don't necessarily need to use it, so we can dock it. We don't need to worry about the invert, so that can be docked. The transform is what's needed, but the levels nodes isn't, so we can dock all these. We can dock that, we can dock that. And it's now the case of just going through, tidying up the graph. When you get something like this, where 2 pins has been drawn from it, we can't dock it. But we can dock ones like this, like here. But that is needed because we need to alter the strength if it's possible. Same with damage occlusion, so we can't dock that. But the grayscale, we don't need it. So basically just going through, docking it. We don't need that, so we can dock it. And it's basically just going through, docking ones that we do and don't need, and it reduces the size of the graph so much. Like this one, we can just copy paste, so now we can dock both like that. Dock the invert. Like that. And just a case of just reducing the size of it, of the graph. As you can see, it makes the actual graph a little bit more manageable. I'll put this in its separate frame. So call this shape circle. You don't have to do it individual ones, like here. All this is for the edgeware. So select all those nodes, add frame, and call this edgeware. Add a frame to here, edgeware, blend, and so on and so forth. Now obviously it was going to take some time for me to go through all this graph, and it's going to be a bit boring for you to watch me doing the same process over and over, because that's all it is, you know, sorting through all these nodes, reposition them so it makes more sense. Like this can be just placed here, and it gives all that space, you know, just putting that in a frame, in a separate frame. And I call this, you know, red, green, blue splitter. That's all it's a case of doing, just rearranging these nodes so it's more efficient, easy to read. People can then just pick it up and read it and know straight away saying, ah yes, that's to control, that's control the nut area, where this controls the pepper area topology, and that's what it's all to do. And just by working out this graph, going through it, adding things into a frame, you make it more efficient. So it's no point for me to continue this tutorial and doing all that. So what I'm going to do, I'm now going to end this tutorial here. By the time I come back tomorrow, all this will be tidied up, be all in appropriate frames, and it looks more readable and it makes sense, so anyone can pick it up and read it and say, yeah, this controls this, this controls this. So tomorrow I'll be looking into more advanced stuff, more advanced filtering. I know we looked into it when we did the edgeware, but that's a basic kind of filter. I'm now going to go through a little bit more in depth, a little bit more advanced form of it, and then I will start be talking to you about perhaps exporting it if we don't get time next time. Tomorrow I'll be looking at it on Monday. So please, on Tuesday, I do apologise. Yeah, Tuesday, be looking at it on Tuesday. So please follow me, continue watching my tutorials, because you can learn a lot. Thank you for watching.